Continue our coverage from Swannanoa with Chief Meteorologist Lanie Pope. And Lanie, beyond the physical damage this storm left behind, survivors are also dealing with navigating the mental health and emotional impacts the storm left.
That's right. Here in Swannanoa, it's a day of community, resilience, and remembrance. So folks are gathering actually at the Swannanoa Library later on tonight as a way to embrace each other and share in this experience. Of course, it's 1 year later, and that can cause some PTSD, and we're into the tropical season as well. Now, we are along the Swannanoa River, and last time I was here, we were seeing articles of clothing, cars, things that were suspended in the trees along this river. As you can see, it is quite serene right now. You can see crystal clear water there in the bottom. It's very shallow, but the waters came all the way up to the edge there. And you do see the businesses along Highway 70, many of them that are still kind of left in the state that they were a year ago, although there were some folks working just across the way with bulldozers just earlier, and they have quit for the day. So there is still work that is being done, of course, beyond the physical damage that this storm left behind. As you mentioned, survivors are dealing with navigating the mental and emotional trauma that still lingers for those recovering a year later, especially as we are in the middle of the tropical season. Audrey Bisk spoke with a Buncombe County nonprofit whose mission it is to lift up impacted residents, and they have tips on navigating that anxiety.
The All Souls Counseling Center in Asheville responds to the mental health needs of their community on a daily basis. But when Hurricane Helene hit, the center was desperate to reach people in need.
So we started sending therapists out into comfort care sites in partnership with FEMA, Red Cross, Hearts with Hands, other supportive organizations, and we were the mental health presence on site.
And over the last year, Meredith Switzer and her team learned their work is more powerful when they cast a wider net and meet people where they are.
Asking the questions, what do you need now? We don't want to make assumptions about what is needed, especially in these smaller communities.
When we look at studies of disaster, 1 year post a natural disaster is usually when healing starts.
Adam Lewis says it's normal to see PTSD-like responses in folks because trauma from Helene shifted the way people view their surroundings.
I hear a lot about, just any kind of sudden heavy rains. We're used to unpredictable weather in the mountains. It's just kind of a thing, but just a really sudden onset of rain, especially if it wasn't in the forecast.
That can cause residents to be on high alert. One of his go-to coping exercises to start with is grounding yourself.
So getting your feet, sometimes literally take off your shoes, get your feet in the earth and stand there and feel maybe the sun on your face, feel the breeze, whatever feels right to try to be here in this present moment versus where your brain might go, which is 12 months ago.
He recommends to always make time to focus on your breathing.
When in doubt, I find it really helpful to just focus on your exhale. I do encourage people around anniversaries of difficulty of loss to take the time to honor the loss. So really give it the space that it deserves, because it's going to come out one way or another. So we need to kind of just have a little slow release valve of that experience so that we can be we can sit with it better. We can be in the moment with it as opposed to it taking over.
Be patient with yourself through mental and emotional recovery.
We were reminded through this experience that we are very resilient. I also want to reiterate that we are still recovering, and it's going to be a long recovery, so don't forget about us.
And another nonprofit group here in Swannanoa, Resources for Resilience, is actually hosting that community day that is taking place at the Swannanoa Library. We were able to speak with a representative from that group, Ann Dupree Rogers, about what she expects later on this evening at that event.
It's incredible how much progress has been made here in a year. When you could have seen it a year ago compared to today, it is unbelievable how hard people have worked, how much they've done to rebuild this beautiful community. And there's still a ways to go,
Of course, and with a traumatic event like this, it's nice to have a nonprofit group like Resources and Resilience. What do you guys do, and what are you planning to do tonight?
So tonight, in partnership with the Swannanoa Library, we're going to hold a session where we teach resiliency tools, really simple, practical tools that we can use to manage through stressful times, tools that we'll teach tonight that then whoever is with us tonight can go teach other people in their community. And then we'll follow it with what we call a listening circle, and that's sort of a facilitated conversation where we talk about what's been hard, what's been helping, and really lean on each other about how we're getting through and practice resiliency tools in real time together.
Yeah, and not everybody responds the same way to a traumatic event. Can you share some of what you call these rapid resets when you do start to feel anxious or stressed?
Sure, yeah. So some of us will end up amped up after a traumatic event. Some of us will end up shut down. Some of us will bounce back and forth. All those responses are really quite normal. But what we do with rapid resets, we practice these quick tools that help us kind of settle out of the fight, flight, freeze response into what we call our resilient zone, where we can kind of think clearly again and communicate and just feel a little more settled. So one of them is called tapping, and we just cross our arms and slowly sort of tap side to side. Often, for a lot of us, when we do this simple thing, we feel a little bit calmer. Another one is called orienting. When we orient, we look around kind of slowly and carefully around our space, and notice in this moment we're safe again. The sun is shining, the trees are tall, the neighborhood is beautiful. I'm getting sort of grounded in the sense that I'm safe again. That's another one, orienting. Another one is taking a walk. Just really things we already do naturally, but that can help us when we do them with a little bit more kind of awareness, can help us kind of come out of that fight, flight, freeze.
And we do know, of course, that North Carolinians are strong. They're very resilient. And in our documentary that airs later this week, you're going to hear more stories. Also, later on this evening, we're going to talk with other individuals across our mountain communities about how they are experiencing and handling what the year after Helene and some of the stresses that they still